is only war.
What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. We're going to do a video for you guys about Grey Knights versus armor. There's going to be a lot to talk about in this video. It might be a little bit longer, but we're going to go over key things that you guys are noticing, I'm sure, when you're playing the game of 10th edition against all the top meta armies. A big thing about Grey Knights you guys are noticing is it's like hitting with a wet noodle, honestly, against going against armor and what we have available to us. It's not very even. So I'm going to try and not complain as much as possible in this video. It's really just going to be an explanation. Hopefully somebody in Games Workshop will see this or notice that Grey Knights are at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to killing armor, vehicles, classes, tough opponents. That's really what this whole video is going to be about. It's going to be a little frowny face when it comes to Grey Knights versus vehicles, but hopefully you guys are going to help me out with this. Leave it in the comments below anything I missed, anything you guys would suggest. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me and say, no, Derek, this is you're dumb, we can kill armor classes like it's our job, but it's not. So in this video, we're going to go over our weapons, the profiles, the top weapons that we have, the biggest basically strength and armor values, the abilities and combos that we have available, best attempts, allies that we can do or bring to the army list, suggestions for myself, and also answers to specific armies that you're going to be seeing on the tabletop. So those are going to be what we're going to be covering. Mainly is going to be going against armor. So it's not going to be going against tactics or specific armies. It's going to be going what armor are we going to be seeing and how Grey Knights can deal or can't deal with those armor classes. So let's get into the video. Real quick, I just want to give a shout out to all my Patreons. I wouldn't be doing this without you guys. A lot of people asked where all the merch came from. So we're selling dice. Now we have available the silver, green, and blue still. They're $1 each. They're dirtbag dice. They roll fucking fantastic. So ask any of the dirtbags on Discord. And also all the stickers. These are all custom images from one of our artists on Fiverr. They basically made them all custom so that way we can sell them and do all that stuff. So all these stickers are $3 each up on Discord. So if you guys are interested in getting some dice and stickers combined, we do some deals. And also there's custom 3d6 Wargaming placemats, which is the terrain or the objectives. You guys can actually pick any 6 designs you guys want, and all the different colors under 40k Dirtbags are all customizable, so you guys get to do that as well. That's in the link in the description below. If you guys are interested, just basically message me up on Discord and say, hey, I would like to go over any of this stuff, and then we can talk about it and go over pricing and shipping, all that stuff. So just want to give a quick shout out. Again, Patreons, we hit 500 last month, gave away a shit ton of stuff to all the Patreons, and also once we hit 1,000, which we're fucking blowing through, we're already up to 91 patrons. Once we get to 1,000, we do another huge giveaway worth $1,000 and do a huge raffle for everybody that is a patron. So that was super successful. It was super fun, and we're going to continue doing that as we grow 40k Dirtbags. So all right, so that was recorded 2 weeks ago. We just got back from the bachelor party, so here we are. We're going to edit those 2 little clips together because we talked about a lot of the Patreon stuff coming up. But today I just got done editing all of this shit for you guys, so we're going to get into a lot today. It's going to be a descriptive video on Grey Knights versus armor, really all the weapons we have, the abilities, the combos, the allies, suggestions, and then answers on everything that we could be doing. So let's get in the video. First off, I made a bunch of clips for you guys to make it a lot easier to go through, and you guys can agree, leave in the comments below what you think. Anything I missed, any suggestions that you guys would go through, all that fun stuff. So first off, Grey Knights versus armor, the current meta that we're seeing right now, especially around me. Now this could change obviously where you guys live, but there's a lot of Necron players that run double fucking units. I actually just played one last night, double shield units that are just insane. There's Land Raiders everywhere. Forge Fiends are just brutal for Grey Knights. One shot, just dead. Especially if you can't roll 4+ invuln saves. We have Custodes, the brick Custodes. They have such good strats, and they're basically winning all over the place. And obviously Eldar is the #1 faction in the game right now. So you see Wraith Knights, you see Wraith Guard, not so much Wraith Guard as much because since the nerf, but still like the characters they have, the free CP, the stratagems they have, like they're just super fast and really cheap. So this is the current meta going on right now, which is just what we have to face. That's probably why we have a 38 to 40% win ratio, because when you compare all of this stuff, this is what we have to try and beat it. So high toughness, great defensive strats, hard to shift, and shoot back hard. So I'm not trying to complain about this video. The main point of me doing this video is just to show, hopefully, others what we're fighting against and what we have to fight against. Every time I play somebody, they're like, oh, that's it? I'm like, yeah, that's it. I'm done. Your turn. So let's go over first the Grey Knight versus Armor range weapons. So this is going over the range weapons we have for mainly infantry and the Dread Knights, and then we have vehicle weapons as well. But I really like this, wherever this picture came from, a really cool looking dude. But he's got the side cannon. We have an incinerator. So the incinerator, strength 6, AP 1 damage. This is probably one of our best profiles just because it ignores cover, and there's cover everywhere in the game. So strength 6, we're going to wound most things on 3s, if not 4s, some vehicles on 5s, big vehicles on 6s, but AP 1, no cover. Combo these guys with the purifiers, and it's really go with the purify flame, just killing infantry. So we have silencers I haven't used yet in 10th edition. They just have probably one of the worst profiles I've seen. They have sustained hits, not auto wounds or lethal hits or anything like that. It's literally just sustained hits 1. We have really no rerolls. So, okay, cool. So, skip. Side cannon. Side cannon's the second best, if not the best. So it's on par with the incinerator. But the side cannon shoots 24 inches, 3 shots flat. Strength 8, which is one of our highest range shooting guns for infantry. -1 AP, which we don't ignore cover. We don't have any way to ignore cover. We have plunging fire sometimes, where if you can get on the top or 6 inches up, you can shoot down to get AP 2 shots, which we can do a lot because we can advance with fly up or just really move up and then or teleport assault. Sorry, teleport assault up and then shoot down. So AP1, 2 damage. You can get a lot of these on Terminator squads. My Paladin squad has 6 of these guys, so 5 side cannons, 1 from the Grandmaster, and they just shoot 18 shots, hitting on 2s into whatever it wants to shoot at. Stone bolters are still rapid fire too, so we're getting 4 shots within 12 inches. We lost bolter discipline, so we have to be within 12 inches to get the most amount of shots, but just easy to have, you know, a couple random pot shots go into enemy units from 24 inches away. So that's our infantry. There's nothing else. No missile launchers, no last cannons, no melta, no nothing. That is literally our profile. Range weapons for Dread Knights, which I don't bring as often, if not ever, anymore in 10th edition. But the Gatling Silencer shoots 12 shots, hitting on 3s. Strength 6, AP 0, just like the little guy, 1 damage. So it still has sustained hits 1, 12 shots. I wish you can combo this. Like if I can do 2 heavy incinerators or 2 heavy side cannons, I think it'd be a little bit more durable to play with. Heavy incinerator ignores cover, auto hitting, 18-inch range. So 18-inch range flamer is pretty good. 2d6 shots, which is very swingy. Like if it was D3 plus 3 shots or a blast flamer, I don't know if that's in the game, but 2d6 shots. I've rolled 4 shots before. I've rolled 2 shots before. Like it's very swingy. Strength 6, AP1, 1 damage. So it's basically like having 2 incinerators on the one arm of your Dread Knight for 215 points. Or you can bring 5-man Purifier unit, which has anti-infantry, 2 psychic weapons, 2 flamers as well, and some store bolter shots. 2 each his own, right? And then heavy side cannon. AP1, 24-inch range, 6 shots, but still hitting on 3s. We can boost it with the Tech Priest, but 3 damage. So that's the difference, is 3 damage compared to 2 damage. Still AP1, I wish it was AP2, but strength 10. Like, that is still wounding on 5s. 4s to 6s. 4s to 5s, sorry. 4s to 5s on most vehicles. So you're wounding on 4s to 5s on most vehicles, hitting on 3s, so you're probably going to hit 4 times. So if you hit 3 to 4 times, you're going to wound maybe once or twice. it's like, you know, maybe, and it's AP1, so most of the vehicles that you want to kill or shoot at are going to get the cover save anyway. If you can't see the entire model, right, they're going to get a cover save. So our anti-tank gun is going to get a 3-up, if not a 2-up save against this heavy side cannon. So that's our options, guys, for side cannons, or for gun ranges and dread knight ranges. So let's get into our vehicle range weapons. So I just took a screenshot of the Storm Raven because it has most of the guns that we can bring on the vehicles. So we have the Hurricane Bolters, which are on the Storm Raven, and the one Land Raider. So it's just a lot of random bolt shots going in. So rapid fire 6, so basically you get 12 shots, 24 shots with 2 of these Hurricane Bolters. It's a lot of shots coming out. So you should be able to get within 12 inches of whatever you're trying to shoot at. We don't have the side bolt ammunition like we used to in 9th edition, where you can get AP1 auto wounding on 6s. So it basically had sustain in 9th edition, or lethal hits in 9th edition, which is pretty cool to think about. But rapid fire 6, twin linked, so you reroll all the wounds, which is just awesome. So that is not bad, right, for a Storm Raven / Land Raider if you want to bring that. The Storm Strike missile launcher, that is on the Storm Raven, it's 48 shots, hitting on 3, strength 10, so still you're looking at strength 10, so 4s to 5s. AP3, which is pretty good, and D6 plus 2, very good. So that's pretty good for the Storm Raven. Then we got twin linked assault cannon. You're gonna see this on Razorbacks or Dreadnought, or the Storm Raven, but devastating wounds, so no rerolls because we don't have any vehicle rerolls in this game. 6 shots, strength 6, so wounding most stuff on 5s and 6s. AP 0, twin linked, so you reroll the wounds, so you basically have a chance to just roll 6 hits and roll fishing for 6s basically. So you might do 1 to 2, 1 to 3 maybe mortal wounds on this twin assault cannon. Twin heavy bolter. So again, twin linked, strength 5, AP1, 2 damage, really good for killing infantry. But that's about it. Twin heavy plasma. So the heavy plasma cannon is for the vehicles. The plasma cannons are for the servitors. So the servitors can bring meltas, hit on 4s, hit on 3s if you're with a servitor, but hit on 4s, I believe. Strength 9 on the melta, I think it says it here. Yeah, multi-melta, so strength 9, AP 4, which is really good, but D6 damage, and if it's within 9 inches, you get melted 2. So 2 shots, twin length, reroll the wounds, not bad. And then twin last cannon, our only last cannon in the game, which is on a Land Raider, Dreadnought, 1 shot on the Dreadnought, hitting on a 3, or I think 2 shots, or just 1 shot on the this thing, Storm Raven, wow, Raven, but it's twin linked, so you get to reroll the wounds. And then we got the Typhoon missile launcher. 2d6 frag, but 2 shots, hitting on 3, strength 9, AP2, d6 damage. So that is really our range weapons on our vehicles, which you're not really going to see in a ton of vehicles in Grey Knights. You might see a Land Raider here and there, which is going to have the last cannons or the heavy flamers, or the multi-melta. The Dreadnought, if it had teleport assault, we'd be running it on almost every single list. And the Storm Raven, since towering is a thing, you can't really start on the table. And then when you fly in from reserves, if you want to put it in hovering, it only comes in within 6 inches of the board edge, which kind of sucks. And then if you're going to use that as a flyer, I don't know if the flyer flies in normally or comes in from reserves, because 10th edition rules are funky. Somebody let me know, but does the flyer only come in 6 inches if it's a flyer from strategic reserves? I think somebody pointed that out to me the other day, which was fucking hilarious. Then you have to wait till turn 3 for your guys inside to actually get out if the Storm Raven doesn't blow up. So, very bad. Let's go into the melee weapons. So, melee weapons, we don't have a ton. We have every single model in the unit, or in the army, being able to take Nemesis Force weapon. This 4 attacks is based off of Terminators or Paladins. Hitting on 3s, probably Terminators, hitting on 3s, strength 6 max, AP2, 2 damage. So everything we have, we saw this when we first came out. I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. And then we realized there was no hammers in the entire codex, besides the Demon Hammer on the Dread Knights or Boldus, and that's it. So Titan Sword is from Drago, so he's pretty good at killing demons. 6 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 8 though. Like, you're wounding most vehicles on fucking 5s. AP 4, 3 damage. No devastating wounds. Literally just anti-demon 2+. That's about it. I guess you could do devastating wounds for spending 2 CP on an anti-demon. That's about it. And then we have force weapon, so that's all of them. And then we have the melee weapons for the Dread Knight. So the Dread Knight has Dread Fist, which I don't know why it doesn't have an extra attack. If it doesn't have Twin Linked, it doesn't have literally anything. It literally just 6 attacks, strength 6, AP 1, 1 damage. I don't know why that's even an option. And then we have the Great Hammer. So the Great Hammer is in there because of tank shock. You basically get to roll 14 dice, 16 dice if you're over their toughness, which most of the time you're going to be over toughness 14. So hopefully that'll do you at least 4 to 6 mortal wounds charging in. Hitting on 4s though, which is kind of a bummer. Even the Grandmaster hits on fucking 4s. AP 3, D6 plus 1 damage. So you even have a chance of not killing a Terminator if you roll a 1. So it's not D3 plus 3, it's not D6 plus 3, it's literally just D6 plus 1. Very bad. 5 attacks as well. So 5 attacks hitting on 4s, you're probably going to hit 3 times. Wounding on 3s, so you're probably going to wound twice. So you're going to get 1 to 2 wounds through. It's AP 3, so they probably have a 3 up or a 6 up, which they potentially could make, right? If they have a 2 up save, they have a 5 up save. Yeah, so... And then the Great Sword, which is just pitiful. Sweep attack, 10 attacks. Hitting on 3, strength 5. It went down 1 strength. AP 1 and 1 damage. So before I think it was strength 6, AP 2, 2 damage. So this is just terrible. And then the strikes, 5 attacks, strength 10, same thing, AP 2, D6 damage. So yeah, all right. And then we got the melee weapon for the Dreadnought. Close combat, 5 attacks, hitting on 3, strength 12, not bad. Strength 12, AP 2, 3 damage. So this is probably one of our best melee profiles we have in the entire game, and it's on a unit that we don't bring. Yeah, all right, so that is that. Yeah, so that is the melee that we have options to. There's really nothing else that we have. So I really like this. So whoever made this guy, shout out to you, because this is fucking badass. I found it on Google. Here's some best combos that we wrote down. So combos that you can do to try and help get more shit into tanks and vehicles and stuff like that, monsters. So we can spend 2 CP, you guys all know, for devastating wounds in melee. There's a couple things that you can combine with that. So Stern, which is right here, you guys might have this model. It's a very, very, very old model. He's metal or pewter. So Stern gives 1 mortal wounds on 6s in melee built in. So if you do devastating wounds charging in with a Terminator brick, you really just want Paladins because you want more chances to do devastating wounds. So Paladins with Stern charging into a vehicle, right? Hitting on 2s, so you can hit most of the time on 2s. And then 6s you're fishing for. So you get any 6s, it's 2 mortal wounds because it's devastating, and then an additional 1 because of Stern on top of that. So every single 6 you get in the unit, if you luckily had a Dreadnought near, you get to reroll 1s. Cool, but you get 3 mortal wounds per 1 that goes through. You can't combine him with other characters, or you'd go with like Drago or the Chaplain or another Grandmaster, whatever it may be. But it's literally just going in to try and fish out for as many devastating wounds as you possibly can. That is probably one of the best devastating wound combos we have. Then we have the Terminator lethal hits on 6s while charging. So if you have a Terminator squad, you're charging into a vehicle, try and just fish for 6s to hit. If you have a Dreadnought near you, get to reroll 1s. So you're just charging in, try and roll 6s, lethal hit. That's about it. Any character that is leading the Terminator unit also gets lethal hits. So remember that if Drago's charging in, he'll also get lethal hits on his Titan Sword. So that's really good with characters. So characters coming in, charging, boom, get lethal hits. Then we got a Chaplain, is +1 to wound in melee. I wish they would give Chaplain an additional character slot. So any unit that we bring, I mean, obviously we'd probably bring 3 chaplains in every single unit, but bring a character like a Grandmaster, then add a chaplain in would be huge for the Grey Knights. +1 to wound, so you're wounding most things on 3s and then 2s, and then you're wounding vehicles on 5s, now 4s. So if it's a big vehicle, you're wounding them on 6s down to 5s, which is huge for Grey Knights because we're only strength 6. We don't have any hammers. So if we can add a chaplain into another unit, that'll be huge. So the best combo to really wound a vehicle would be a chaplain leading a unit of 10-man Terminators. Charging in, 6s do lethal hits, and then 5s or 4s, depends on how high. If it's a toughness 11 or lower, it'll be 4s. If it's toughness 12, it'll be 5s. So that'll be really the best combo we have going into melee if you really want to go into a melee unit. Now, if you want to just kind of come in rapid ingress with a chaplain and 10 Terminators, just to kind of run up and kill a really easy infantry squad, you're going to wound on 3s and 2s anyway. So that's actually a pretty good combo if you want it. He's cheap. I think he's like 70 points or something. He's actually really cheap for being a character. So we went over Stern. Tank Shock with the Dread Knight. So a Dread Knight charging in with the hammer is going to be able to do Tank Shock for 1 CP. If you're a Grandmaster, you get to do it, I believe, for 0 CP or 1 less CP. I've only run the Grandmaster once, but you basically run in for free, do the Tank Shock, get 14 dice +2 if you're over the toughness, which you most likely will be. So it's 16 dice. Any 5 pluses, you get a mortal wound. So potentially already starting off with 6 mortal wounds with Tank Shock. Grandmaster Dread Knight, full rerolls in melee. So you can spend 2 CP, but you only really have 5 attacks. So if you get 5 attacks, full rerolls to hit and wound against tanks and monsters, that's a way to do as much damage as you possibly can. Now, here's a true story. I charged in a Grandmaster to a Necron craft, hit I think 3 times, maybe 4 times with my hammer, and then I wounded I think 2 or 3 times with rerolls, and then he made 2 saves, and then I think I did like 4 damage maybe, and then he just healed it back the next turn. I got to reroll the damage as well, which just didn't really do anything. But that is another option, is the full rerolls in melee with your Grandmaster Dread Knight, which most of the time you should be able to kill something or at least damage it a lot with some extra firepower coming in as well. And then we have the Dread rerolls. So this is one of the best combos, technically combos, we have, is a Dread walking in from reserves, outside 9 inches away from the enemy, and then being within 6 inches of a unit to try and give them full rerolls for 1s and wounds. Rerolls 1s. So it's reroll 1s to hit and wound. That's really all we're getting. You could do that for the shooting as well. So if you have a 10-man brick of paladins up on the 2nd floor on 6 inches up, trying to get plunging fire, you measure from the model. So if the model's 2, 3, 4 inches high, and then you measure to your model, it's less than 6 inches. So they'll be in that aura of rerolling 1s. So they're going to hit on 2s, reroll 1s, plunging fire. They're going to wound on 5s, reroll 1s. So AP2. That's going to do some damage to vehicles with the Dread rerolls. And then Grandmaster ignoring modifiers. I put this down because it is a really good combo. Having Paladins with the Grandmaster infantry unit, you get to reroll -1 to wound. You get to reroll -1 damage, or not reroll. You get to ignore all this. You get to ignore any penalties to hit. You get to ignore any penalties to wound, any modifiers to the damage, any of that stuff. So any of that thing, it's going to really help having a Grandmaster in that unit specifically. I went up against the Lion in my last video, and the Lion had -1 to wound. So I was wounding, since he was toughness 9, our strength 6 weapons were wounding him on fucking 6s. So if we had a Paladin blob with a Grandmaster, we would at least wound them back down on 5s. So being able to wound somebody on 5s compared to 6s is a huge fucking difference when it comes to dice. And he just lived. He just basically tanked and killed my entire unit of Terminators with Drago charging in. So that was just bad play on my part. Didn't know he had that. Found out afterwards. So yes, Grandmaster ignoring modifiers is definitely one of the best combos. Let me know if I missed any combos you guys would suggest, but this is probably the best way to go after tanks and vehicles, is with any one of those combos to test out. So I really like the Chaplain combo with the 10-man Termi brick, Stern with 10 Paladins, maybe Voldus with 10 Paladin just to do some mortal wounds, and then Libby with some mortal wound potential. So, all right, what else we got? Allies. So we do have an opportunity to bring allies with Grey Knights. We did a video on this, so if you guys want to go check that out, it's the Grey Knight ally video, what you can ally with Grey Knights. But really, to bring in anti-tank, you can bring in the vehicles to fight fire with fire. We have the Rex guy who has a really good in melee. He's got a sweep profile, I believe it's 3 damage, so he can just sweep a bunch of Terminators off the board. We have these guys with the Meltas. I believe they're 24-inch Melta guns, so if they walk in from reserves, they're within the 12-inch range from Melta 4, which is a really good combo. I've seen a couple lists that had 3 of these guys in it. So they come in from strategic reserves, because I believe they're under the points, and then you kind of just walk them on, melt to something really fucking hard, and you could potentially make a charge afterwards because they do have a sweep profile with their chainsaws. So they also have a little melt on top as well, which is 12-inch range. So at least you can get 2 big melta shots and 1 little melta shot coming in, hitting on 3s with their weapons. So these guys are actually really good with Grey Knights. And then you got big fucking Lancer Boy, or really any other big dread you want to bring to the table. This guy's just ginormous on the table. But him coming in rapid ingress from the side, from reserves, because I believe he's under 500 points, so you can put him into reserves, walk him on. Hopefully he can't be shot, but he's got towering, so it's going to be really hard to hide. So he's got to walk on, hopefully not die in return, and then move up, I think, 14 inches and then charge. So he's super quick and has lance, so he hits on 2s and does a lot of fucking, I think, 8 damage on the melee weapon. So there's some armor versus armor if you really want to go the heavy routes. All right, and then we got Grey Knights versus armor answers. So some answers that we have is really 3 Libbies. So we actually played 3 Libbies into Knights, and it wasn't bad. So 3 Librarians led by 3 Terminator squads, all just fucking teleporting all over the table together, like in units, as long as they all can kind of see something. My last game, I rolled 2 6s with one of my Librarians and was able to do 2d6 mortal wounds every single time. Now, they don't get Feel No Pain, the 4-up mortal wound save, unless they're leading a unit. That's why if you run solo Libbies, it's really hard to kind of be reliable on them, because if they roll a 1, they might just kill themselves, which has happened to me. I'm sure it happened to you guys plenty of times. But running 3 of these guys around the board, going against specifically vehicle, is going to be really good with Grey Knight. So that's probably one of our best combos to try and kill vehicles, is just run 3 Librarians. So 3 Librarians, anti-vehicle shenanigans with the allies, and a bunch of like small cheap units for troops to try and score secondaries. So one of the answers is just to not kill the tanks and ignore the tanks and play secondaries. That's kind of what I've been focusing on since 10th edition happened. You guys have been seeing a lot of my videos. There's still a lot of tanks or heavy infantry left at the end of the game because we just completely straight up ignore them. That honestly is one of the best answers you can do with Grey Knights. You kind of teleport around, get your secondaries, kill all the chaff units, all the units that are scoring them secondaries. Like if you see a Nurgling unit in the corner, fucking just hop over, shoot them off the table, and boom, now that they lost out on one behind enemy lines, engage, action target that they can't do every single turn. So that's kind of our game style right now in 10th edition, is ignore the big shit and go after the little stuff secondary that's going to win you the game, compared to just try and kill whatever the fuck is on the other side of the table. Somebody let me know what you think about the 3 Libbies, because I think I want to run another game with them. I really liked how they played, and we're probably going to tailor our list to be competitive, not just strictly against vehicles, because not all the time you see vehicles on the other side of the table. But 3 of these guys going into a unit that doesn't have any mortal wound saves will definitely do a lot of damage to the unit. Now, anybody that's feeling no pain like Necrons, it's going to be really hard to fucking go into them. Custodes, 4-up mortal wound saves. Anybody that can combat the Libbies, it's gonna be a rough matchup, because them with Terminators don't do a lot of damage. Really, it's just there to do secondaries, because they could bring a Terminator back every single turn and just do mortal wounds from 18 inches away. So I really want to try that list again and kind of make a video and post it up for you guys. So that is really the answer for you guys. If you guys are like, fuck, that can't be the only answer. Yeah, we either have Librarian spam or ignore the tanks, or make a specific units just to go after tanks, or just play the game like we're supposed to be playing in 10th edition and just go after secondaries. And we have a very, very good army to get secondaries in 10th edition, if you guys have noticed. So our games are usually really close, or we're winning by, a lot, because we're able to stop their primary and focus on our secondaries because we're teleporting all over the table. So it's a bunch of videos that I have on that, so go check those out. But the last thing I want to go over is Games Workshop. If you guys see this, if you guys want to share this, let everybody know. These are some ideas that I have on my side that I've been seeing and noticing every time I've been playing the game, is if they changed these specific abilities for us. Sorry, I didn't even notice that was cut off, but whatever. So if they change these abilities for us, this is something that's going to help us out moving forward in 10th edition. I don't think any of this stuff is really going to change besides points, but we're hoping, right? All right, so bring back hammers. Hammers was, we are the hammer. That is basically the lore of fucking Grey Knights. Why don't we have hammers? Most of our models and pictures that we have in the codex and on Games Workshop website and the data cards have a lot of fucking hammers. And they might have done that on purpose because they knew they were bringing them back anyway. But Games Workshop would basically troll us and say, nope, no hammers for you guys. And then all of a sudden, 6 months later, after some major tournaments, they're like, hey, we were just kidding. Here's your hammer profile. Now, hammer profile could be 3 damage, AP1, AP2. Even if it's AP1, just having the 3 damage for devastating wounds, potentially. But the strength 8 is really what I want it for. Like strength 8 to 10, even if it's fucking strength 10. Codiez is a strength 9 hammer. If you guys have seen that, he's got a fucking demon hammer, strength 9, that little fucking dude. Strength 9 demon hammer. Give us fucking strength 9 hammers back. So strength 9, AP1, AP2, 3 damage, whatever the fuck you want to do. Just give us something to go into vehicles that we can rely on. So my paladin brick, if I could just put 10 hammers on the paladin brick, they could shoot well and they can hit well. And they ignore a lot of modifiers. So that would be a benefit if they could just bring hammers back to Grey Knights. So that was my first idea. Free battle round strat. So I posted this to Games Workshop. I posted it on my channel. I posted it really everywhere. And the people on Facebook who are just... Facebook is fucking crazy. But they forgot battle round for Grey Knights. And I don't know if they did it. I mean, everybody says they did it on purpose. But honestly, if you test battle round for Grey Knights, it'll feel more even, but still fighting an uphill battle. And what I mean by that is we have a strat that you can't shoot us outside of 12, but it's 2 CP. So if I spend 2 CP, that's one strat that I'm not really going to be focusing on that turn, which is teleport away, -1 AP, advance and shoot. Like, we have a lot of really good 1 CP strats. Come within 3 inches. So that's limiting my ability to do those 1 CP strats. Then you can't shoot me outside of 12, but who cares, because I'm not going to shoot you dead either. Like, if I had 10 fucking multi-meltas in that unit that shot 24 inches away, then yeah, you probably don't want that strat on our unit. But we're strength 8, AP1, 2 damage. Like, it's not a killer if that unit lives. We can kill Marines, but the Marines also are going to get a 3-up save. We can't kill Terminators because they're going to get a 2-up save. Like, it's very, very, very hard to kill Terminators with side cannons. Trust me. So if I can't be shot at, cool. I have one unit that really can't be shot at outside of 12 inches. And then they can't kill anything back. That is my argument is, yes, we can't be shot, but also we can't really kill whatever we're shooting at either. So that's probably the only thing that I would argue is that's a good strat, but it's not really going to limit it's not going to make us unkillable, or it's not going to make us kill more shit, which is the whole point of upgrading us a little bit in this edition. So that is once per battle round. Every other army fucking has it. We don't. Kind of sucks. So, and other armies have better strats than we do for that specific thing. But make dreads deep strike. Having a dread knight have teleport assault, because you don't need deep strike really, do you? So just giving Dread a deep strike, give Dread deep strike or teleport assault, whatever it may be. If I could just pick him up every single turn and kind of put him all over the table, following units around, imagine him behind a unit of purifiers, right? Hitting on 2s, wounding anti-infantry on 2s, rerolling 1s, having behind a 10-man paladin brick, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, wounding on 2s on infantry, rerolling, like that would make a list. That would be something that we can be looking forward to playing, having a Dread, because Dread is pretty easy to kill, honestly. I had a Dread die to another Blade Saw Dread. I think he wounded me twice and rolled 8 damage. It was d6 plus 2, so he rolled a 6 and just killed my fucking Dreadnought off the table. So they're very easy to kill. So it's not going to break the game if you bring the Dreadnought that can deep strike specifically just for Grey Knights. So that would be a huge suggestion. I think would make a big difference for Grey Knights in 10th edition. So that way we can at least get some fucking rerolls in the game. Then we got Grandmaster rerolls. So there's a lot of armies: Chaos, Custodes, Space Marines. What else? Death Guard keep and fucking reroll. Like, there's a lot of armies that have rerolls. Our only reroll in the whole army is infantry and a Dread that can't deep strike. So if Grandmaster can give out rerolls or a reroll aura or anything, that would definitely help boost us a lot. So Grandmaster rerolls. Grandmaster Dread Knight rerolls. Give it back the rerolls. Dread Knight weapons are better. So Dread Knight weapons, they're AP1, guys. Like, anything AP1 on our side, which is almost everything. We don't think we have any AP2 weapons. They can't get plunging fire because they're vehicles. They can't hop up on top of buildings unless the vehicle's ginormous and it's 6 inches up. So they can't really get plunging fire. So everything you're going to shoot at that is mainly want to kill vehicles is going to get their regular save, their 3-up or 2-up save. It's only strength 10, so you can move most big vehicles on 5s, and also it's not as tanky to get shot back. So basically, it can shoot out, do almost no damage, and then get shot back and die. So Dread Knight weapons, I think, need to be better to have them be viable in 10th edition. And then obviously, you guys already know, less points. So look at our win ratio. Not a lot of people are winning as much as we were in 9th edition. I went into LVO and I basically placed 20th out of everybody with Grey Knights. There was my boy Cole, Quinn, who placed right below me, which was funny, by 1 point. But Grey Knights did very well at the end of 10th or 9th because of missions and just their killing power. And if you were a good player, you can kind of use them as a surgical knife, go out and kill the characters or units that you really need to kill, and just be super fast with the interceptors running across the table. So I was talking to my buddy Dan last night when we played our Necron game, and if we keep everything the same and just reduce points, they won't see a huge difference. So I was giving an example. Let's say you gave me an extra 200 points. What can Grey Knights? I don't know. I don't think we're going to drop that much, honestly. So let's say 150 points. We can bring, I don't know, an extra unit of purifiers, an extra strike unit. We can bring just an extra maybe 5-man Terminator. I don't even know if we're going to have enough to bring another Terminator unit. But my example is, if you bring an extra unit, is that one unit going to win you the game? Maybe, maybe not. Is that one unit going to table the enemy opponent? Absolutely not. So reducing the points is not going to fix Grey Knights not being able to kill anything. Reducing the points is going to help us a little bit more with secondaries. We might be able to throw one more unit out to be aggressive and get points. But right now, the units that we have, we cannot be as aggressive as we were in 9th edition. It's a completely different play style. If you fell in love with the 9th edition Grey Knights, this is completely different, especially going into armor and really tough infantry units. So there has to be some type of a change when it comes to their point changes. So yes, you can definitely reduce or raise army's points, but it's not going to be a huge difference to be like, all right, now Grey Knights are OP. All right, now Grey Knights are going to win, GTs and stuff like that. You still have to fucking win every single game is not easy mode with the Grey Knights, especially now going into it. Now, I'm going to have a huge thing coming up with Nova at the end of August. So that's 8 games that I'm going to get straight in with Grey Knights. So I'm practicing now for it. We have about 2 weeks since me making this video. So by the time this video releases on YouTube, I might be at Nova, or you guys might, speak with me on Discord and kind of get me ready for Nova. But I think I have a list ready to go. We're going to keep practicing it, solely focused on secondaries, kind of ignoring really tough tanky units, and being very surgical on who we try to kill with our purifiers and our paladins. So guys, if you guys are new to the channel, there's a lot of stuff, not just Grey Knights, but 40k stuff on the channel. Go check out more videos. If you guys are Patreons, these videos pop up for you guys first on Patreon. So I post everything first on there. So if you guys want to join, support the channel. We just added a yearly 10% discount if you guys book up for the year, compared to just do it month to month. So if you guys have been around with me for the past 2 years, we're not going anywhere. We are solely focused on getting the competitive scene better for 40k. It's a very super friendly environment. We are trying to grow as much as possible, and that's the Dirtbag Nation. So if you guys want to go join the Dirtbag Nation, head over, give your support, leave some comments, join the Discord, and if you guys want to get better at the competitive scene, hit me up specifically on Discord after joining the Competitive Dirtbag Patreon. And guys, thank you for everybody for the support. Can't do this without you. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. I love doing shit like this, but let me know in the comments below what you liked, what you didn't like, what can we improve, and what's something else you guys would suggest in these types of videos that you want to see better of. So appreciate it, guys. Good luck, and we'll see you in another video soon.